In 2023, a survey revealed that 76% of dog owners let their pups sleep in bed with them at night. Maybe you're one of them, and who can blame you if you are? But why do dogs really want to settle down next to their owners? The real reasons go beyond the comforts of soft pillows. So let's look at 10 different reasons why your dog wants to sleep next to you. And does it mean unlove if they don't? Do they sleep by your head or at your feet? We'll also look at the 7 different positions that your dog might sleep in and what they mean. Stay tuned till the end, and before you dive in under covers, subscribe and join our channel for more videos about your furry pal. Who doesn't get a rush of joy when their dog decides to join them in bed? Who can resist the urge to pet and cuddle with them once they're up there? Look at those big brown eyes and that fluffy little face. They're just irresistible. For some dogs, that's exactly what they're going for. When your dog gets into bed with you and you start petting them, they're likely to interpret that as a reward for getting into the bed. As we all know from our dog training efforts, most dogs respond very well to praise and rewards. Once your dog has received canine kudos for getting into bed with you a few times, you've essentially trained them to do it every night. While having their favorite human around is certainly helpful, there's one other thing that is crucial to ensuring that your dog remains unstressed. Routine. Dogs love routine. They have a surprisingly good sense of time for a species that never invented the clock, and having an idea of exactly what is going to happen and when it's going to happen is key to helping your dog feel anchored in the weird human world around them. If your dog started sleeping in bed with you as a puppy, then by the time they became an adult, getting into your bed at night had likely become a key part of their bedtime routine. Old habits die hard. Even though they might now take up significantly more space in the bed than they did when they were a baby, they still need to get their nightly cuddle before they can settle down for the night. Dogs are very scent-oriented creatures, much more so than humans. They depend on their super sniffers to understand the world around them, the same way that we depend on our eyes, and they often take comfort in having the scent of their human near them. This is why some dogs will steal items that belong to their humans and sniff on them while they snooze. But what carries your scent even better than a pilfered pen or pair of your socks? You. By sleeping next to you, your dog is able to smell your soothing, relaxing scent all through the night, giving them a deeper, calmer sleep. When the first human looked at a prehistoric wolf and decided that behind that scary, toothy exterior was a sweet little puppy who just wanted to be loved, one of the first tasks that they trained their new best friend to do was guard. Even the soppiest family pet can potentially become a ball of fangs and fur if they think that their human family is being threatened. Your dog may choose to sleep in bed with you because they recognize that you are more vulnerable when you're asleep, and have decided that you need your own personal watchdog to look out for you. On the other hand, sometimes you aren't the one your dog thinks is in need of protection. It's easy to forget that dogs live in a confusing world. A lot of the ordinary, everyday things that we take for granted, such as thunderstorms or loud car noises, are unknowable horrors from your dog's perspective. Your dog relies on you to be their one constant, to help the world make sense. When the time comes for them to go to sleep, the most vulnerable part of their day, it's natural that they would want their big, strong protector by their side to keep them safe. We mentioned before that dogs live in a confusing world. Sometimes, however, a dog's desire to stay close to their owner can become a bit unhealthy. If you find that your dog insists on staying close to you, not only when it's time to go to bed, but also when it's time to get up, if you haven't been able to go to the bathroom on your own for years, then you probably have a Velcro dog. Velcro dog syndrome is so called because the affected dogs stick to their humans like, well, Velcro. If they can't be near their humans, even if they're only a room apart, they experience intense separation anxiety and may start barking, whining, tearing up the furniture, or frantically trying to escape the room they're in. Velcro syndrome is most common in dogs who were taken from their mothers at too young an age, dogs who have experienced some kind of past trauma, and dogs who have been bred for jobs that require close human contact, such as lapdogs and sheepdogs. Then again, whatever the breed, one of the simplest reasons why a dog might lay an eye on your bed is because it's likely a lot more comfy than theirs. To be clear, we're not accusing you of skimping when it comes to your pup's creature comforts. Doggy beds are delightful, but they probably don't come with a thick duvet, multiple pillows, and orthopedic mattress. Human beds are soft, warm, and come with their own living hot water bottle in the form of you. Some dogs might also prefer to sleep with their head on a pillow, an option that generally isn't taken into account when designing dog beds. Flat-faced breeds like pugs and bulldogs often have difficulty breathing at night. These dogs may find it easier to sleep with their heads elevated because it takes the pressure off their airways. You ever seen a group of dogs sleeping in a puppy pile? This is another instinct from their wolfy past. The more of you there are sleeping near each other, the more ears there are to listen out for danger. Not to mention, wolves are generally native to cooler climates, and sleeping in a big fluffy pile was how our pups dealt with that issue before the invention of radiators, duvets, and warm human cuddles. Your domestic dog likely sees you as one of their pack members, and so they naturally feel an instinctive urge to sleep alongside you. And there's more. One of the major differences between human beds and dog beds is that human beds tend to be higher off the ground. The average human is, after all, higher off the ground than the average dog. But your dog might not see it that way. From their perspective, your nice high-up mattress isn't just a bed, it's a lookout post. Sleeping up high allows your dog to see much further than they would on the ground. Even though, in your room, that probably just means that they get a slightly better view of the wallpaper. If there's a chance that you or your partner could be pregnant, and your dog suddenly starts clambering into your bed and acting extra clingy, then it might be time to take a test. Pregnancy causes hormonal changes in the body, which our dogs can smell. As pack animals, dogs often have an instinctive urge to help out other pack members who are pregnant or nursing, and your dog may be getting into bed with you because they want to offer you some kind of emotional support. Another possibility is that you could be ill. Dogs are famously good at detecting illness, which is why medic alert dogs are such a useful resource for people with chronic health conditions. Just as with pregnancy, if a dog detects that a member of their pack is feeling sick or injured, they're likely to want to try and do whatever they can to help you out. Now for the furry cherry on top. In which spot exactly does your dog sleep? Once your dog is in the bed, they then have to choose where to curl up. Do they sleep by your head or at your feet? Do they lean against your side or settle on top of you? We're now going to look at the 7 different positions that your dog might sleep in and what they mean. Sleeping at the foot of your bed gives your dog access to 2 important things. Firstly, the door. Sleeping at the foot of your bed puts the dog closer to the door and makes sure that they will be the first one to catch sight of any intruders. Secondly, your feet. Dogs love feet. Feet are sweaty. Your sweat contains traces of pheromones, which can tell your dog all sorts of information about you, including your emotional state and your physical health. To your pup, getting a whiff of your feet after a long day is like reading your Facebook profile. Another thing that sweat contains is salt. Tasty, tasty salt. As gross as it might seem to us, many dogs have no qualms about licking the salt off their human's toes. But what about your dog's butt facing you? This might feel like an insult, but it's anything but, pun not intended. Your dog's butt contains scent glands that release a pheromone scent, much like the one your dog smells in your sweat. When your dog shows you their butt, they're trying to give you a chance to learn information about them. The same information that 2 dogs will exchange when they sniff each other's butts in greeting. Showing you their butt also involves the dog turning their back on you, adding an extra layer of vulnerability to their already vulnerable position of being unconscious. All in all, a dog who sleeps in this position is letting their human know that they trust them completely. This is another position that your dog will only sleep in if you have their complete trust. Not only does it involve turning their back on you, but it also exposes their tummy to attack. A dog's tummy is one of the most vulnerable parts of their body, as it is where all their vital organs are. In a fight, another dog would likely try to target your dog's belly. As a result, nervous dogs will usually try to position themselves, when sleeping and when awake, so that their belly is shielded by either the floor, if they're lying flat, or their own body, if they're curled in a ball. The dog who sleeps with their back pressed against your back is sacrificing their ability to do that, because it means that they have a better chance of seeing any predators who try to sneak up behind you. In return, they're trusting you to do the same for them. They're literally letting you know that they trust you to watch their back. Spooning is when two people, or one person and dog, each lie on their sides next to each other, so that one of them, the little spoon, is shielded by the other, the big spoon. Since the decision as to who gets to be which spoon is generally based on height, chances are you're going to end up being the big spoon. Unless you're unusually short, that is, and your dog happens to be a Great Dane or Irish Wolfhound. Spooning your dog provides them with a sense of security and safety. Not only do they have the comfort of being shielded by your body, but the position puts their head close to your chest, allowing them to hear your heartbeat. Scientists have found that when dogs and their owners sleep next to each other, their hearts will often start to beat in sync. This demonstrates the deep, almost spiritual bond that exists between humans and their dogs, and your dog will be calmed by the reminder of it. A dog who sleeps next to their human's head wants to be as close to them as they possibly can be, and is willing to trade away a lot of comfort to get that closeness. Sleeping next to your head, especially if they're on your pillow, gives your dog less room to freely move around than they would likely have in any other position. It also means that their view of the rest of the room is probably going to be significantly curtailed because your head will be blocking their vision. By sleeping next to your head, your dog is, in their mind, placing their personal safety entirely in your hands. You will have to be the one to alert them if there is danger. You will have to be the one to fight off any attacker first. It's a sign of great trust and affection, something that may comfort you next time you wake up to a face full of dog breath. Apart from anything else, a dog who is sleeping on top of their human is much less likely to be disturbed by said human getting up and trying to leave the bed in the middle of the night. Even if the human can get to their feet with a dog on their chest, the dog owner's code will, of course, prevent any true dog parent from rising until their pup is properly rested. But that's not the only reason why dogs often like to sleep lying on top of their humans. Just like with spooning, this position allows the dog to hear their human's heartbeat and keep an eye on their breathing, something that most dogs find exceedingly comforting. Plus, humans are very warm. Lying on top of a human ensures that all that nice toasty body heat is going straight to the dog's belly and warming up their core. What's even better is that there's a kind of feedback loop generated here. The warmer the human gets, the warmer the dog sleeping on top of them will be. And yep, the other way around. The warmer the dog sleeping on top of them gets, the warmer the human will be. On a cold winter's day, nothing can be cozier than going to sleep under a nice thick duvet, and your dog no doubt agrees. Dogs don't only like to sleep under the covers because it's warm, however. Under the covers is also dark, enclosed and dry, reminiscent of the dens and caves that your dog's wolf ancestors would have sought out to sleep in. Not to mention, it allows them to be completely surrounded by your scent. Plus, just like with humans, the weight of the duvet gently presses down on your dog's body with a calming effect. This is so comforting to them that they might even start sleeping in your bed, even when you're not in it. But what if it's bedtime and you're all set to snuggle up with your pup, only to find that they're not interested in joining you? Ouch, right? It's easy to feel a bit rejected when your dog chooses the cool floor over your warm bed, but don't take it personally. There could be a lot of reasons why your dog isn't cozying up next to you, and most of them have nothing to do with how much they love you. First off, dogs have their own preferences when it comes to sleep, just like we do. Maybe your bed is too soft, too warm, or just not the right fit for them. Some dogs like to spread out and have their own space, and your bed might feel a little too cramped for their liking. Or maybe they found a sweet spot elsewhere in the house that's cooler, quieter, or just more to their taste. Dogs are all about comfort, and sometimes that means sleeping solo. On the flip side, not sleeping with you might actually be a sign that your dog feels super secure. If they're confident and comfortable enough to sleep on their own, it means they trust that you're nearby and everything is okay. So, while it might not be the snuggle fest you were hoping for, it's still a good sign that your pup is feeling safe and content. And hey, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? Does your dog sleep a lot with their belly up, or perhaps curled up into a tight little ball right next to you? These sleeping positions aren't just about finding the most comfortable spot. When your doggo often sleeps in specific poses when you're around, it actually reveals how they truly feel towards you. How relaxed and comfortable they are in your presence, how much they trust you completely, or are they secretly hurt by you? Your dog's choice of sleeping pose can give you a deeper insight into their emotions and the bond you share. Stick around to discover what your dog's favorite sleeping spot says about your relationship. Paw over face. There are few things cuter than a dozing dog sleeping with one of their whittle paws held over their eyes. It's just so sweet. As you might expect, one of the main reasons that dogs will cover their eyes in their sleep is because the room they're in is too bright. Dogs are technically diurnal like us, even though their higher requirements for sleep mean that they need to take more naps during the day than we do. Your dog may struggle to sleep in bright sunlight and will use their paw to try and block it out. However, there is another more concerning reason why a dog might insist on covering their face with their paw. If a dog is scared or stressed before they go to sleep, and especially if they're concerned about being attacked, they might decide to put a paw over their face to try and protect their delicate eyes while they're unconscious. Lion pose. Also sometimes referred to as a sphinx pose. This is what it's called when your pup sleeps on their tummy with their back legs sticking out to the side, and their front legs pressed together in front of them, with their head resting on their paws. It's very sweet, but it's a sign that your dog might be feeling a bit anxious. Sleeping on their belly with their front legs together allows your dog to easily jump to their feet and run away should anything scary happen, while their head being on their paws and facing outward, rather than being tucked away or on the floor, means that they can start surveying the room for new dangers the moment they open their eyes again. On their side. By comparison, a dog who just flops over onto their side when it's time for a nap is a dog who is feeling calm and safe. Sleeping on their side means that it's going to take that much longer for your dog to get onto all fours after they wake up. So a dog who does this is very confident their life won't depend on their ability to quickly get up in the morning. Equally, this position exposes the dog's belly, the most vulnerable part of their body. A dog's belly is where they keep their delicate vital organs, and an injury to this area, especially for their wolfish ancestors who wouldn't have had access helpful human vets, could easily become fatal. Your dog sleeps like this because they know that your home is their safe place, and that you would never let anything bad happen to them in it. Superman pose. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's your pup. They're sleeping in their Superman pose, flat on their belly with their legs all sticking out in different directions, so called because it makes them look kind of like Superman in mid-flight. Like the lion pose, this position allows your dog to spring into action the moment they wake up again. But unlike the lion pose, a dog in this position is significantly more relaxed. This is the pose that dogs tend to sleep in when they've got all tuckered out during playtime and want to take 40 winks. The Superman pose doesn't allow your pup to actually take flight, but it does mean that they can immediately get up and start playing again once they've rested up. Puppy pile. Sometimes the best place to take a nap is on top of somebody else. As pack animals, dogs often feel most comfortable sleeping alongside their friends, whether they be human or canine. This instinct dates back a long way. For your dog's wild wolf ancestors, sleeping in a puppy pile would not only ensure that there were plenty of ears to listen out for danger while everyone was asleep, it would also strengthen the social bonds that would allow the pack to hunt together and protect each other during the day. For a pack species, teamwork absolutely makes the dream work, and sleeping in a puppy pile at night is a good way to increase everyone's chances of surviving the next day. In a ball. Dogs are extremely flexible, and this is never more apparent than when they choose to sleep with their spine curved so much that they end up curled into a ball. It's a cozy-looking position, and a surprisingly practical one. By curling up into a ball, your pup reduces the surface area of their body and ensures that no part of their belly is exposed to the open air, keeping their core nice and warm. However, like with the lion pose, this posture will also be used by dogs who are feeling too nervous to sleep with their belly on display and are trying to provide themselves with some kind of protection by making sure that their belly and their head are both shielded by their back when they sleep. If your dog sleeps this way with their back facing you, then that suggests that they're not entirely sure that you are safe to sleep around. With their head on a pillow. This is a deceptively adorable pose. Your dog is sleeping with their head raised up on a pillow or the side of their bed, just like a human. They think they're people, but your dog might not be doing this purely for the comfort. Some dogs are just weirdos who like sleeping with their head in the air. But if your pup is a brachycephalic breed, like a pug or French bulldog, then a tendency to sleep on a pillow might be a sign that they need a vet visit. These breeds are prone to breathing problems due to their flat noses, and will sometimes be forced to sleep with their heads raised to help relieve the pressure on their airways and keep them from struggling to breathe in their sleep. On their tummy. We've already mentioned that dogs will often sleep on their tummy as a way to protect themselves, but that's not the only reason why they'll do it. Dogs will also sleep on their tummies, especially if they can find a flat, cool surface to do it on, as a way to cool down their core. With their tongue out. This can be a slightly worrying pose, since it might look at first glance like your dog is sick or even dead. A healthy human would never sleep with their tongue out, not unless they wanted to wake up with the worst dry mouth ever. But dogs are different. A dog who sleeps with their tongue out is feeling incredibly relaxed. Like a human who dozes off with a book in their hand. The dog is calm and blissed out and has decided to have a little snooze, forgetting to put their tongue back in their mouth. Under blankets. Oh, sometimes a lump in the bed isn't just a lump in the bed. A lot of dogs like nothing more than to cozily burrow underneath your blankets and have a little nap. Dogs find sleeping under a blanket comfy for roughly the same reasons we do. It's warm, and the light weight of a blanket on your body can help you sleep more easily. Sleeping in a dark, enclosed place also helps them feel safe from predators. Plus, and most adorably, they're likely to want to sleep under your duvet specifically because your blankets have your scent, and there's nothing more comforting for your pooch than being able to smell you nearby while they're dropping off to sleep. Running and barking. Like all mammals, dogs can dream. We obviously have no way of knowing exactly what they dream about, but by looking at how they move the sounds they make in their sleep, we can speculate. Dogs will often bark, twitch, whine, or even kick their legs like they're trying to run while they're asleep. This suggests that when they dream, they're probably reliving the things that they do in their day-to-day lives, like barking at squirrels or running after sticks. Dead dog pose. Don't worry, your pup is perfectly fine. This sleeping pose is so called because it can look kind of like a cartoon drawing of a dead dog, lying on their back with all four legs in the air. This is one of the most trusting poses a dog can sleep in, as it puts their tummy on full display and means that they'll have to roll all the way over in order to get to their feet again when they wake up. Sleeping this way does, however, ensure that their tummy and all four legs get the maximum amount of exposure to the cool breeze on a hot summer day. Snoring. Your dog snoring might sound cute, but it's not a good sign. Snoring can often be an indication that your dog is having problems breathing in their sleep, especially if they're a brachycephalic breed. This isn't always the case. If your dog only snores occasionally, or only when they're sleeping in certain positions, then it's probably fine. But if they are snoring whenever they fall asleep, then that's a sign that you should probably take them to a vet. On your bed. Just like sleeping under the covers, sleeping on top of your bed allows your dog to have access to your scent, but without having to be under a blanket on a hot day. Your dog also knows that the bed is where you sleep, and if it's getting late, their pointedly lying on the bed might be their way of saying, "Hey human, it's bedtime." Even though your pooch probably can't tell time, it's extremely common for dogs to learn their humans' routines, and for them go get upset if that routine is unexpectedly disrupted. Eyes open. This can look a little creepy, but it's generally fine. Your dog is asleep, but their eyes are still open, just unfocused and staring into space. This can sometimes indicate that they're not fully asleep yet. They're still just on the verge of nodding off and are keeping their eyes open for as long as possible to keep a lookout for potential dangers. A lot of dogs will open their eyes partway while in REM sleep, the sleep stage in which dreams happen. This can be concerning for inexperienced dog owners who might interpret open eyes to mean that their dog is awake and that their unfocused gaze and unresponsiveness is a sign of some medical problem. If this is you, don't worry. It's highly unlikely that it's anything to worry about. The worst case scenario for a dog sleeping with open eyes is that they have some kind of eye infection, or worse, that they can't shut their eyes. Flat-faced breeds, including pugs and Boston Terriers, can sometimes end up with eyes so big that their eyelids can't fully cover them. These dogs will always sleep with their eyes open, rather than just some of the time. With a toy. Just like many humans, a lot of dogs can't sleep without their favorite stuffy. This can be especially common in dogs who live in single-dog households and who may want to try and satisfy their instinctive need to sleep alongside a pack member, even while their human is out of the house. Your dog's comfort item might be a teddy or a toy animal, or it might be a blanket or even a pilfered piece of clothing. Some dogs might try to steal discarded items that have your scent so that they can feel like you're with them. However, sleeping with toys can sometimes be a sign of something more concerning. Some dogs might get anxious about their precious items being taken away, and so will try to guard them even in their sleep. In extreme cases, this behavior can escalate into dogs refusing to let anyone come near them while they're asleep, or even having trouble falling asleep at all if there is anyone else in the room. Spooning. Spooning is when two dogs sleep next to each other, with one dog's back being against the other dog's tummy. Usually the outside dog, or big spoon, will be larger, and the inside dog, or little spoon, will be smaller. This heartwarming sleep position allows two very close doggy friends to offer each other support and protection while they're asleep. The small dog gets the reassurance that their large friend is nearby to protect them from danger, and the big dog gets a living hot water bottle in the form of their little bud. In a nest. You might be surprised to learn that, just like birds, female dogs like to make themselves nests. A dog who is nesting will start by looking for a private, warm place that feels like it would be a safe place for puppies. They'll then start retrieving soft things from around the house to make it nice and cozy in there. Unfortunately, doggy interior design tends to favor a scrap heap aesthetic, and so it's likely that any likely-looking nesting material that your pup gets a hold of when they're going through this phase is going to get shredded. As you might have guessed, dogs usually nest when they're expecting puppies. But what if you notice your dog starting to nest, even though there's no way she could be pregnant? Do you ring up your local church and let them know that you've got a canine virgin birth on your hands? No. If your dog seems to be prepping for puppies, but she doesn't have a bun in the oven, then that's a sign that she might be experiencing a phantom pregnancy, a condition that mimics the hormonal changes of pregnancy. This can sometimes even happen with dogs who have been spayed, if the spaying happened at the wrong time of their heat cycle. This can be very distressing to your dog, who might not understand why she doesn't end up with any new babies to look after. So if you notice that your dog has started building herself a private nest to sleep in, then you should consider consulting a vet for support. In a hole. Dogs love to dig. You might think that your pooch likes digging up your yard because they're either hiding or looking for bones, but food storage is only one of the reasons why your dog likes to get their paws dirty. Dogs will also dig to build themselves shelters to sleep in, a behavior that dates back to their wild wolf ancestors. A hole in the ground might not sound like a great place for a nap, but for your dog it's likely to be surprisingly comfortable. On a hot summer day, sleeping on freshly unearthed soil will often be cooler than sleeping on a patch of ground that's been warmed by the sun. On a winter's day, on the other hand, a dugout burrow can provide shelter from cold winds and rainfall. Hopefully, your dog won't actually need to build these kinds of shelters for themselves, as they'll have access to your home, but their wild instincts might not be quelled by the knowledge that they can go back inside and sit in the warm at literally any point, and so they still feel the need to dig. Butt facing you. Your dog sleeping with their butt facing you might feel a bit ill-mannered, but it's actually a sign of trust. You're probably aware that dogs like to sniff each other's butts as a greeting. This is because a dog's butt has special glands that contain a pheromone scent that is, thankfully, undetectable to humans, but can tell another dog anything from their mood, to their health, to their relationship status. Your pup showing you their butt, therefore, is their way of trying to share information about themselves with you. When they're asleep, it also puts them in a position where they would be unable to defend themselves easily if you attack them, as their main defensive weapon, their teeth, would be facing away from you. As a result, dogs will only sleep this way around the people they really trust. Back to back. A dog will only sleep back to back with another dog or a human if they have a deep, loving bond with that individual. Sleeping with their back to you carries the same risks as sleeping with their butt facing you, but also involves having their tummy exposed to attack. A dog who sleeps in this position is sacrificing their ability to shield their vital organs so that they can properly show you how much they love you. Where exactly your dog chooses to sleep says a lot about your bond. Does your dog sleep with you? If so, where exactly? Next to you, between your legs, at the foot of the bed, on your pillow, or maybe with their butt near your face? Or does your dog prefer to sleep somewhere else, like by the door, in their own bed, close to your bed, or under the table? Each spot has its own special meaning, so let's find out what they are. Between your legs. The space between your legs offers a warm, protected environment, similar to a den. For dogs, this position can feel incredibly safe and comforting, especially if they are naturally anxious or have had unsettling experiences in the past. Basically, they're seeking a sanctuary that shields them from the outside world. Dogs are at their most vulnerable when they're asleep, so choosing to rest in such close proximity to you indicates a strong bond and deep trust. At the foot of the bed. By choosing the foot of the bed, your dog is showing that they enjoy being close to you, but also value having their own space. This position allows them to stay connected without being overly clingy, which can be a sign of a confident and well-adjusted dog. It's a perfect middle ground, close enough to feel secure and connected, yet far enough to stretch out and have a bit of independence. Sleeping at the foot of the bed also places your dog in an ideal position to monitor the room and the entry points. It's a strategic spot for dogs with a protective nature, as they can keep an eye on the surroundings and quickly alert you to any unusual activities or sounds. The foot of the bed might also be appealing to your dog because it offers the right balance of warmth and coolness. Unlike snuggling directly beside you, which can get quite warm, the foot of the bed often provides a more comfortable sleeping temperature. This choice could be particularly relevant if your dog tends to overheat or prefers not to be smothered in blankets. Next to you. Dogs that sleep next to their owners typically show a high level of attachment. This position allows them to be as close as possible. It's their way of saying they love you and enjoy your company, even during sleep. Dogs are inherently social creatures, and sleeping next to their owners strengthens the social bond. This position allows them to maintain physical contact, which is a powerful way to reinforce their social connections within the family. Butt to your face. When your dog sleeps with their butt facing your face, It might seem like a humorous or less than ideal arrangement, but this position actually has several significant implications regarding their trust and comfort level with you. In the animal world, turning one's back to another is a significant sign of trust. By sleeping with their butt toward you, your dog is demonstrating that they feel completely safe in your presence. They are putting themselves in a vulnerable position, trusting that you will not harm them while they are asleep and at their most defenseless. This position also taps into some of their natural instincts. Animals often sleep with their noses facing an exit, even subtly, to keep aware of potential threats. Your dog might position their butt towards you, considering you a safe zone, with their nose oriented towards the door or another part of the room. Dogs have scent glands in their anal area, and though it's not the most pleasant thought, when they sleep with their butt towards you, they are subtly marking their territory. This position might also indicate a level of independence. While they want to be close to you, they might not always want to face you or be in a more clingy, dependent position. Behind the owner. By sleeping behind you, your dog is positioning themselves in a way that allows them to act as a guardian. This spot enables them to keep an eye on the environment while using you as a shield against potential threats. Choosing to sleep behind you can also be a sign of your dog's respect and submission to your leadership. In dog pack dynamics, lower-ranking members often position themselves behind the leader as a sign of deference and acknowledgement of their social standing. On your pillow. Choosing to sleep on your pillow is one of the most affectionate and intimate choices your dog can make. This spot is where your scent is strongest, and by sleeping there, your dog is seeking to be as close to you as possible. It's a sign that they love your presence and find comfort in being near you, even when you're asleep. Additionally, being so close to your head, they may feel more secure, knowing that they are right by your side should anything occur during the night. Sleeping on your pillow can also be a way for your dog to ensure they are one of the first things you see in the morning, strengthening your bond and reaffirming their important status in your life. It's a smart strategy to guarantee affection and interaction as soon as you wake up. For some dogs, particularly smaller breeds or those with health issues, sleeping on a pillow can help keep their heads elevated, which might be necessary for comfort due to respiratory issues or to prevent acid reflux. Close to you at first, but usually moves away in the middle of the night. Dogs often like to move around at night. Sleeping straight through for 8 hours is mostly a human habit nowadays. In the past, both people and their dogs would go to sleep at sunset, wake up during the night to check on the animals, tend to the fire, and then sleep again until morning. So, when you turn over in your sleep, your dog probably wakes up, thinks, "I'm warm, I need to stretch and stay alert," goes for a walk and a short sleep somewhere else, and then returns to snuggle with you for the last hour or so. On the floor by your bed. Opting for the floor rather than your bed can signal that your dog respects your space and has a healthy level of independence. They understand where they can be in relation to you, showing they're mindful of their place in the home. Sometimes, the choice might also be influenced by their physical comfort. The floor may offer a cooler or more supportive surface for dogs with joint issues or those who overheat easily. By the doorway. Dogs that sleep by the doorway are often exhibiting natural protective behaviors. By positioning themselves at the entry points of the house, they are effectively taking on the role of a guard. This location allows them to monitor any potential threats or unusual activities that occur outside or within the house. Their presence by the door is their way of ensuring that they are the first line of defense, ready to alert you to any disturbances. This behavior also reflects a strong sense of loyalty and duty. Your dog takes their responsibility to protect the pack very seriously, and by choosing the doorway as their sleeping area, they are demonstrating their commitment to your family's safety. In their bed. Opting for their own bed indicates a healthy level of independence. Your dog feels secure enough in their environment to enjoy their own space. This choice can also suggest that they have a strong sense of self and are comfortable being alone, which is a sign of good mental health and well-adjusted behavior. If your dog consistently sleeps in their bed, It's a sign that they respect the boundaries and rules you've set in your home. This is often the result of effective training and clear communication between you and your dog. It reflects their understanding and acceptance of their role and space within your household. Under the furniture, like a desk or table. Dogs that sleep under furniture are often seeking a sense of security and comfort. This behavior is reminiscent of their ancestral instincts to find a den-like space that feels safe and protected from threats. Under a table or desk, your dog may feel more secure as the enclosed space offers a protective barrier and helps them manage anxiety or nervousness. Sometimes the choice to sleep under furniture can be influenced by temperature and sensory preferences. For example, the floor beneath a piece of furniture might be cooler or the area might be quieter, away from the hustle and bustle of household activity. This can be particularly appealing in warmer months or in busy households. If your dog suddenly starts seeking out hidden spots like under furniture, it could also be a sign of health issues. Dogs often hide when they're not feeling well as a natural instinct to protect themselves when they're vulnerable. If this behavior is new and accompanied by other changes in behavior or appetite, it might be worth a checkup with your vet. Living room couch or chair. Dogs that choose to sleep on the living room couch or chair often have a strong desire to be integrated into family activities, even during rest periods. This behavior suggests they view themselves as part of the pack and want to remain involved with the social dynamics of the household. By choosing a central spot like the couch, they stay connected to where the family spends a lot of time, reinforcing their bond and presence. Various spots throughout the house. Dogs that move around to sleep in different spots might be displaying a natural vigilance. By changing their sleeping location, they can keep watch over different parts of the house at different times. This behavior can indicate a protective instinct, where the dog feels a responsibility to guard and monitor the household from all angles. In January 2021, the Canisius College in Buffalo, New York, conducted a study that changed the way we look at sleeping with dogs. More than 1,000 Australian dog parents participated in the study. And the results? Turns out that certain unexpected things happened with those people who chose to sleep with their dogs at night. So, what are they? Before we dive in, be sure to subscribe to our channel and join our doggy-loving community. Bonding. There's something special about ending the day with your furry pal right by your side, isn't there? You're just getting cozy under the covers, and without missing a beat, your dog jumps up to join you. Who could say no to those cuddles that send you off to dreamland? But should you actually let your dog sleep in bed with you? Interestingly, studies have found that dogs actually sync up their heartbeats and breathing with their humans when snoozing together. This hints at a subconscious connection shared between you and your four-legged buddy as you both dream away. Back in the day, dogs would snuggle up together for a snooze to keep each other safe and warm. Makes sense, right? Sleep is when they're super vulnerable. So, when your dog cuddles up with you in the comfort of your modern bedroom, they're basically acting on those deep-rooted instincts for safety and trust. And those bedtime cuddles? They're the building blocks of trust and friendship lasting way past the morning alarm. Sleep quality. So, diving back into what the folks at Canisius College found out, it turns out that about 2/3 of pet parents hardly ever feel their sleep is messed up by their dogs. Pretty cool, right? There's this other study where they strapped activity trackers on women who let their dogs bunk with them. What they saw was kind of funny. If the dog so much as twitched, the chances of the woman tossing and turning shot up. But here's the kicker. Most times, the women didn't even realize it was happening. Kinda makes you think, doesn't it? It's like, sure, our dogs might wiggle around and bug us a bit at night, but we don't really link that to feeling groggy the next day. It's almost as if the good vibes and sense of safety we get from our furry pals make those little interruptions worth it. But hold up a sec before you get all cozy with your four-legged snooze buddy. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine points out that a whole lot of people are wrestling with sleep troubles like insomnia and sleep apnea. We're talking millions here. And choppy sleep just messes with our brains. Getting the right kind of shut-eye means cycling through all 4 sleep stages a bunch of times each night. Each round takes about 90 minutes. So, doing the math, most of us need a solid 7 to 8 hours of pretty much straight-through sleep to be on our A-game. Skimping on quality Z's can really throw a wrench in the works for stuff like paying attention, picking up new skills, getting those creative juices flowing, and making smart choices. So yeah, having your dog snuggled up with you is super comforting, but it's all about striking that sweet balance. We've got to make sure we're getting that uninterrupted rest to wake up feeling like $1,000,000, ready to dive into whatever the day throws at us. And that goes for our pooches too. Anxiety level. Did you know that there are service dogs specially trained to sleep alongside individuals coping with PTSD? Their company during the night has been recognized as a comforting presence, offering solace to those who find themselves restless, caught up in the worries of the day. Professionals who face high levels of stress on a daily basis have shared stories of how their anxiety and sleeplessness began to fade once they started sharing their nighttime space with a dog. It seems that the rhythm of a dog's peaceful breathing and the warmth of their body can work wonders on calming a troubled mind. And let's be honest, who can resist the gentle nudge of a dog as they persistently paw at your bedroom door? Health. Having a dog around changes not only the vibe of your place, but the bacterial landscape too. Research suggests that hanging out with our furry pals and all the microorganisms they bring along might actually give our health a bit of a boost by beefing up our immune defenses. Now, for the kiddos in the house, getting to grow up with pets, especially during that first year, might mean they'll dodge some allergies to things like pets, dust mites, and pollen later in life. But it's not just about dodging sniffles and sneezes. Having a dog can do wonders for our overall health. Feeling stressed? A quick petting session with your dog can lower your blood pressure. So, that nightly cuddle fest with your pup might be doing more than just warming your feet. However, that same mix of microbes that's doing your immune system a solid might also bring along some uninvited guests, like more hostile bacteria, viruses, and the occasional parasite. Especially if your immune system isn't up to par, or you've got a cut that's healing, you might want to rethink the whole bed-sharing setup with your pet. And for those among us battling allergies or asthma, sharing your pillow with a pooch might crank up those symptoms, even if your doggo is supposedly the hypoallergenic kind. Turns out, allergens don't just hitch a ride on fur, they're in the drool and dander too. But it's one thing to gently steer away your pup to their own bed when they want to snuggle up with you, and a whole different story when you're inviting them to your side, but all you get is, "Nah, I'll pass." So why doesn't your dog want to sleep with you? A lot of dogs really dig the whole safe and snug vibe they get from being in bed with their humans. Besides, a dog's nose is like a superhighway straight to their happy place in the brain. Since we humans tend to, marinate in our beds, sweat and all, our beds end up smelling a whole lot like us. For our scent-loving furry friends, snoozing in a spot that's all wrapped up in our smell is pretty much the dream. But hey, just like us, dogs have their own likes and dislikes. Maybe the squishy softness of a mattress isn't their jam, and they'd rather kick back on something a bit sturdier. Or maybe it's the smell of your detergent or the feel of your sheets that they're not too keen on. And don't forget about the older pups or those dealing with some health issues. That leap onto the bed can be a real hurdle for them. If that's the case, setting up some pet-friendly steps or tweaking your bed setup could be just the ticket to making your bed a welcoming spot for them. With all that said, what's the final call? Should you let your dog sleep in your bed? So far as the Canisius College studies go, nearly half the folks surveyed, ages spanning from 18 all the way to 78, said their dog gets prime real estate right in their bed. Another chunk, about 20%, mentioned their dogs keep it close, but not too close, opting for a cozy spot somewhere else in the bedroom. Then there's the last group, the 31% who prefer their pups to have their Z's outside the bedroom. The researchers even used some heat map images to see where dogs plop down for the night when they're sharing space with humans. Turns out, when it's a couple plus their dog, the furry one usually ends up by their feet or smack dab in the middle. Solo sleepers with a dog often find their canine companion curled up at chest level, right where a human partner might be. And for those with just a single bed, dogs tend to stick to the floor, or, if they're up on the bed, still at chest level. Interestingly, a good 1/3 of these dogs prefer to burrow under the covers for their night's sleep. So, should you roll out the welcome mat on your bed for your dog? It's really your call. If you take some basic precautions to ensure everyone's safety and health, like keeping your bedding fresh and clean, there shouldn't be anything stopping you and your pooch from enjoying some quality snooze time together. Who left these tiny dark glasses, fedora hat, and trench coat stuffed under the couch? And why does your newspaper have some strangely doggy-shaped eye holes cut into the front page? Could your pooch be, perhaps, a secret agent? Well, while we definitely can't confirm or deny the existence of a doggy equivalent of the CIA, or Canine Intelligence Agency, we can confirm that your fur baby knows a lot more secrets than you might think. Specifically, secrets about you. To your dog, you are the most important person in the universe, so of course they take the time to learn as much as they can about you. From how you're feeling, to where you've been, to what you like and dislike. Your dog knows enough facts about you that they could probably write an entire encyclopedia on the subject. We haven't gone that far, but we are going to tell you about 8 things that only your dog knows about you and how they know it. Number 1. How are you feeling? Your dog doesn't have any special mind-reading powers, but you might find that hard to believe sometimes. It might feel like they know what your mood is like before you do. When you're feeling blue especially, your dog can pick up on it immediately and knows the moment you need a dose of extra snuggles. Part of this is due to body language. Dogs are excellent at picking up on patterns and will soon learn to associate even the most subtle changes in their human's behavior with their corresponding emotional state. But they can also smell your emotions. When you feel happy or sad, your body releases special chemicals called hormones. These help you respond to the thing that triggered your emotional response in a way that maximizes your chances of survival. For example, if something scares you, your brain will release the hormone adrenaline, which will make you feel that jumpy, tense feeling that you get when you're afraid, but will also make your heart beat faster and your muscles start preparing themselves for movement so that you'll be ready to go if you need to fight or flee. Your dog can smell these hormonal changes in your body, and just like with your body language, they will learn to associate them with your emotions. Because of this, even if you manage to keep your body language and facial expressions enough under control to hide your emotions from any other humans, you won't be able to fool your dog. The nose knows. Number 2. Where have you been? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Your dog will know. The sense of smell is the only sense that is capable of seeing backwards in time, and since your dog's sense of smell is 40 times more sensitive than yours, they can see back in time 40 times more efficiently. Took a shortcut through the park on your way to work this morning. When you come home in the evening, your dog will be able to smell the faint scent of pollen and grass on your clothes. Have a cheeky donut for breakfast? Your dog can smell the crumbs on your fingers. Knock your coffee cup and splash some on your trousers? Even if you wiped it off before it's stained, your dog will be able to tell. Nothing gets past your little Sherlock Bones. Thank God they don't use their powers for evil. Number 3. What are you meant to be doing right now? Obviously, the main thing you're meant to be doing is catching up on your fun educational dog videos. We assume that all our viewers make sure to set aside time for us in their official schedule. No? Why ever not? But if by any chance you aren't meant to be doing that, then your dog is likely to know about it. Despite not being able to read a clock, your dog likely has a very good sense of time. With their fantastic puppy pattern recognition skills, they can easily remember what time you're meant to wake up, make breakfast, take them on their morning walk, go to work, and come home again. It can be nice having somebody in your life who cares so much about your schedule, kind of like having an unusually furry PA. But the downside is that dogs can sometimes get a bit upset about having their routine disrupted. If you suddenly need to change your routine for any reason, then it may take your pup a while to adjust. Number 4. How are you feeling? Again. Getting a bit of déjà vu? Don't worry. We haven't just run out of ideas. Instead of how you're feeling in an emotional sense, we're now going to be looking at how you might be feeling in a physical sense, because dogs can sense that as well. Your dog can tell when you're feeling sick and may become more attentive and protective as a result. Part of it is body language again. You likely slow down a bit when you're starting to come down with something, and maybe you get a bit crankier. Your dog can observe these symptoms and judge that you're probably in for a cold. But dogs can also detect illness by smelling the chemical changes in your body. This particular canine ability is especially useful for people with long-term conditions like diabetes and epilepsy, the effects of which can come on suddenly and unexpectedly with potentially dangerous results. Medic alert dogs can be changed to alert an epileptic owner to an oncoming seizure, or a diabetic owner to a sudden drop in blood sugar. This then allows their dog parent to take medication, call for help, or even just move themselves to a safer location. For many people, having a medic alert dog is the only reason that they feel able to leave the house alone. Number 5. Are you expecting? If you've ever been pregnant, you might have noticed some unusual behavior in your dog. As you might have gathered, dogs are very sensitive to the chemical changes in their humans' bodies. And nothing causes chemical changes in the human body quite like growing an entire other human inside it. Dogs whose owners are pregnant might become overprotective. Since they see you as part of their pack, they likely see the new baby as partly their responsibility to look after. Later in the pregnancy, they might start getting concerned about your refusal to do any proper preparations for your baby's arrival. Preparations like digging a hole in the yard and filling it with shredded fabric and bits of food. Possibly, they might try to help you out by destroying your soft furnishings and dragging their remains somewhere warm and dark for you to give birth in. For some reason, a lot of dog parents choose to reject their fur baby's offer of a nice nest, and instead choose to have their baby in a hospital with no shredded cushions in it at all. Still, even if you don't use it, at least it's a nice gesture. Number 6. What do you like? You might have noticed that your dog seems to have a sixth sense for your likes and dislikes, especially when it comes to other people. If somebody is your friend, then your dog is all over them, whereas if you don't really like a person, even if you try your best to hide it, your dog will at best give them the canine cold shoulder, and at worst, might actually act aggressively towards them. Once again, this isn't so much a sixth sense as just a new use for the fifth one. Oxytocin, or the love hormone, is the chemical your body releases when you see someone you like. When you feel stressed, on the other hand, it releases adrenaline and cortisol. Your dog can smell these changes, and even if they don't know exactly why you're feeling this way, they can understand the association between your emotions and the other person you're interacting with, and will take to or against them accordingly. Number 7. Going somewhere? Not if your dog has anything to say about it. You thought that you could leave for your vacation nice and quietly, but your dog is standing in the doorway like an indignant parent, demanding to know where you think you're going, mister. In vain you try to explain. It's not for long, Waffles. The dog sitter will be here soon. I'll bring you back some dog treats as a souvenir. How did they even know you were about to leave? It's not like you told them, even if they could understand. Well, you may not have told them in words, but you probably let them know with your actions. Leaving your bag in the hallway? Packing up all your stuff? Looking around frantically for your sunglasses? They're in your car's glove compartment. How could they not put the clues together? Number 8. Are you awake? He sees you when you're sleeping, and he knows when you're awake. But no, he's not Santa Claus. Your dog can tell when you're about to wake up, and when you're about to fall asleep, even before you know what's going on. Once again, the secret is their amazing sense of smell. When you're about to fall asleep, your brain releases a chemical called melatonin to help you relax. And when you're about to wake up, it releases cortisol to jolt you awake. Your dog can smell these and knows you're about to wake up. Want to even the score by learning some secrets about your dog? Check out this video to find out crucial differences between male and female dogs when it comes to their personality.